Plaintiff Kendall Crozier says her daughter dated the defendant, and they have a daughter together. Kendall claims after they broke up and her daughter went into a drug treatment program, she was granted custody of her granddaughter. However, the defendant has since regained custody and is keeping the child from Kendall, so she's suing. Defendant Jeffrey Ellis says he got custody of his daughter because Kendall's daughter is a drug-addicted, unfit mother. Jeffrey claims Kendall has been saying that he's not the child's biological father, so he petitioned the court for a paternity test. Jeffrey's countersuing for defamation of character and emotional distress.
Start with you.
In 2003, my daughter had a relationship with Jeffrey Ellis. In 2004, they had a daughter. From the very beginning of this relationship, it was riddled with domestic violence, both physical and verbal. The relationship—
On his behalf or both?
Both. In the aftermath, she went on to the next relationship and had, in 2010, 2011, she had 2 more children. In February of 2013, I noticed that she was having a lot of erratic behaviors, and I took the children out of harm's way and took them with me. I then went through the court system. CPS, Child Protection Services, got involved. They said that I was the most viable person to have custody of the children because my daughter was already going into a residential rehab treatment plan for drug use. I then went to court in March and petitioned for guardianship. In my state, grandparents' rights are extremely weak. They granted me temporary guardianship of all 3 children. On May 21st, we went to court again, and they granted the biological father, Jeff Ellis, custody of my eldest granddaughter.
Because I was the best fit for her.
Okay. And go ahead.
On June the 8th, he took her from a visitation and said that he was exercising his rights to have custody of his daughter. I went back to the court, looked at the court documents, and he had put in his petition, and he was correct. He got custody of Michaela. In the process, not once, not twice, but 3 times, he said in front of a judge and in a CPS, Child Protection Services order, that he would not break up the sibling unit, that he would make sure that they kept in close contact at all times. He didn't adhere to his word. He never brought her back. 2 weeks later, the 3-year-old had to have 6 abscesses cut out of her legs because he didn't bring her to spend time with her siblings, because he broke up the sibling unit.
That's what the doctor said?
The doctor said that it was caused by stress. The child was medically, she had issues.
She's had those issues since she was born, Your Honor.
She's had issues since she was 7 months old, allergies
But
and
now
such.
you blame it on him?
No, it was because
He never brought his child ever to see the other 2 children?
No, he never brought them to see.
They
in
have
that
not
2 weeks.
seen her since?
No. I went to court on June 24th. I went and put in on their behalf for visitation for the siblings.
That's what I'm saying.
And now they have. Now they have. Now they have
the court
visitation.
granted you some new rights?
They granted me visitation.
But prior to that, he would not allow
He didn't bring. He
That's
didn't
not
bring
correct,
a bite.
Your Honor.
Oh, so they never
Now,
saw
let me
their
clarify.
sibling.
Let me clarify what saw is. What Mr. Ellis thinks is saw. He drove up in his car, let her get out of the vehicle, run into the house, get a backpack, and run back out.
How many times?
And leave me once,
Okay.
and leave me with two, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old crying.
So only allowed his child to see the others once until the order. All right. Sir?
Okay, like all this got to head, I got a phone call one day from work talking about, the school had called me talking about, your daughter's not at school and her mother doesn't know where she's at. Now that freaked me out, so I tried to call my daughter's mother, her daughter, and she wouldn't answer her phone. So I had to leave work, go down to school, try to talk to the school police, and from what I got from them, what they gathered from my daughter's mom, because she was drunk at 11 o'clock in the morning, that the grandmother had her.
My daughter had a relationship with Jeffrey Ellis. From the very beginning of this relationship, it was riddled with domestic violence, both physical and verbal. The
On
relationship,
his behalf or both?
both.
Defendant Jeffrey Ellis says he had a child with the plaintiff's daughter, but the plaintiff has doubts that he's the father, so he petitioned the court for a paternity test.
Sir?
The next day, I got a phone call from her telling me a little bit what was going on.
What did she tell you was going on?
That her daughter was talking gibberish and said that she's going to take the kids, throw them in the car.
Gotcha. So that's why she took him, as she said. All right.
And so I was asking her questions, what's going on, you know what I mean, how long you've known, you know what I mean, she was going like this. She told me it was around Christmas she noticed that something was going on. So now since I know she must have had to break up with her ex-boyfriend. So we go through the whole process, the CPS gets involved, and we go to the guardianship hearing, and I was the only one that spoke up and said, I want to get my daughter, you know? Like, I'm able to provide a loving and stable home for her. She doesn't need to be over in that situation. You know what I mean? Even if it means breaking up the younger brother and sister, they have a father that I believe he could take care of them. I could take care of my daughter by myself, and she's my responsibility. So
in your effort to fight to get your daughter back, what happened?
Well, I was awarded custody of my daughter, or granted guardianship of my daughter. And with all this, like, I told the judge I'm able to provide a loving, stable environment. Her mother was on drugs. They said that they did a hair test and they found heroin and methamphetamines and marijuana, everything basically in her system. And also in that court case, Ms. Crozier over here has said that there's a stipulation that my daughter's not of mine. My baby looks just like me, acts like me.
She suggested the baby is not yours?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Where do you get that impression or understanding?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I think that my daughter was promiscuous and wasn't completely faithful when she was with him.
So therefore,
they weren't married, and
so
she
therefore,
was dating.
Did she tell you the child was his?
Did my daughter tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
No, she did not.
She has never admitted. Who did she? She said she didn't know who the child's dad was.
She said that it could be someone else, but she let Jeff go ahead and take the responsibility that he was the father.
So she's either said it's his or it's not.
She said that she does not believe that Jeff Ellis is her father.
Okay, you just changed what you told me.
Because she was
Ma'am,
promiscuous.
you just changed what you told me.
Well,
You just changed sentence to sentence. You changed what you just told me.
What my daughter said and what
You
I
said
think
she
are
said
two
it
different
may
things.
be someone else's. That's what you said first.
Yes.
Then when I questioned that, you said, my daughter said she does not believe he's the father. That's
And
what you were
I
very
also said
concise.
I did not believe that.
I know,
she is.
but you also said your daughter told you that, that she didn't believe.
Yes,
All right. And she said that because what?
because she had photographs of someone else and she was promiscuous and wasn't faithful to him.
So she did believe it was someone
yes,
else's
she said there
child
was a possibility
based on the photograph.
on the photograph and that she was promiscuous and was not
No,
faithful.
we're talking about the photograph now.
Yes, it was
All right.
it was a photograph.
First, she didn't say it may be someone else's. She said it is someone else's. Because earlier you said it may be. Now you changed it to it is someone else's.
I
And
looked
now
at the
it
photograph.
is the person on the photograph, or it may be the person on the photograph. Huh?
I
What did your daughter tell
My
you,
daughter
ma'am?
told me that she didn't believe.
No, about the photograph.
She looked at the photograph and she said, this man looks like my daughter. Jeffrey Ellis doesn't look like my daughter.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to hear. It took us a long time to get to that.
I'm a little on the slow end there.
No, you're not slow. I don't believe you're being honest. That's what I believe. All right, sir. So did you take a DNA test today with us?
But yes, I just wanted her to see and her daughter to see that she's mine. She looks like me, acts like me. Sometimes she acts like her mother, but you know what I mean? She's my baby. So.
And you fought to keep her.
Yeah, I fought to keep her.
And you fought to get custody and maintain custody.
Yes, sir.
And you had to fight in court to do it.
Yes, I did.
And not many single men would do that, so I applaud you.
I just wanted her to see and her daughter to see that she's mine. She looks like me, acts like me. Sometimes she acts like her mother, but you know what I mean? She's my baby. So.
And you fought to keep her.
Yeah, I fought to keep her.
And you fought to get custody and maintain custody.
Yes, sir.
And you had to fight in court to do it.
Yes, I did.
And not many single men would do that, so I applaud you.
Defendant Jeffrey Ellis says he had a child with the plaintiff's daughter, but the plaintiff has doubts that he's the father, so he petitioned the court for a paternity test.
Her daughter told her, in essence, the child wasn't yours. So we have the results. Let's get past that very quickly. You're countersuing for defamation. Why? What does she do?
Well, she tried to say my daughter is not my daughter, even
Who
though.
does she tell that to?
To the judge. To the judge.
Okay, that's not defamation. If she had told someone outside court there and it damaged her reputation, then perhaps so. So the question is whether the child is yours. I want you to read the results and what percentage it says the chance is that the child is yours.
Local listed, the probability of paternity is 99.9999997%.
You satisfied now?
Jeff?
Go ahead, sir. Let's get to your response regarding keeping the children away. Did you have a legal right to do so?
Yes, I did.
All right, so you didn't allege that he violated the law.
Yes, he did.
What? Tell me how.
On September 14th, he was supposed to bring her for a birthday party, and he kept calling on the phone and said that
is
he
not
couldn't
true, Your
bring
Honor.
her.
And this was a specific date which you had visitation rights?
Yes,
Do you have that with you today?
yes.
All right, sir, how do you want to
Your
respond
Honor,
to this?
my son had his first football game, and we tried to leave and to meet
Is
up
this
with
the
her.
only instance which
Yes, it is.
Ma'am, is this the only instance that you can refer to that he was unable to accomplish the visitation rights?
Yes.
Okay, out of how many months? Out of how
He's
many
had her
months?
since June.
Okay, since June,
So-
he's only missed once
Yes.
throughout the time he had his child.
Yes, and
You-
directly after that, the second child had to have abscesses removed
Okay,
from the leg.
and they're all his fault, right?
Honor.
Yes, they
It's
are
all
his
right.
fault
You have a
because he didn't
doctor's
have-
statement that says it's all his fault.
Do I have a what?
A doctor's statement
No,
that says
I
it's
have the
all
statement
his
that they
fault.
had abscesses removed.
That doesn't have
out of
anything
his
to
feet.
do with him. I'm not going to let you sit here and blame this man, sue this man, lie on this man, your daughter, some dope fiend somewhere, not even take care of her daughter. Yet this man has stepped up to the plate as a single father, doing everything he's supposed to do. You sit up here and lie today about paternity. When I caught you in those lies, you tried to change your answer each time. I believe he's a great father. I believe he's done nothing to entitle you to one dime. You're entitled to zero. Now, you're suing her for emotional distress?
Yes, sir.
All right, I can see how she has caused you the emotional distress. So your claim is dismissed. I'm going to grant you $1,000 for the emotional distress you have endured from her. Have a good day.
I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he is the father.
I'm glad this is over with. You know, this lady is a really good grandma to my granddaughter. You know, or to my granddaughter, to my daughter. She's really good to them. But as folks, you know what I mean, with the daughter and stuff, with her daughter, we just don't agree about certain things.